Good morning. These notes are for multiplying polynomials. To find the product of two polynomials, we're going to multiply each term in the first factor by each term in the other factor, then combine like terms. So when we have a binomial and a trinomial, really the distributive property is what we're going to think about doing. So, but we have to distribute each term. So this first 2x is going to have to be distributed to the x squared term. So that would be 2x to the power of 3. Then the 2x is going to be distributed to the negative 2x. So 2x times negative 2x is negative 4x squared. And then a positive 2x times a positive 1 is a positive 2x. Then we go to the next term, which is a negative 3, and we're going to multiply it by each term. So we're going to get negative 3x squared, and then negative 3 times a negative 2x is going to be a positive 6x. And then lastly, negative 3 times a positive 1 is a negative 3. And then what we do is we look for like terms. So again, we're looking for the same exponent and the same variable. So we have 2x cubed positive, and we have a negative 3x, oh, that's x squared, sorry. So those are not like terms. So the only x cubed is the first one, so we bring that down, 2x cubed. Then this is a negative 3x squared, and we have a negative 4x squared. So we combine and we add a negative 4 and a negative 3, and we get negative 7x squared. So the only thing that we're adding, remember, are the coefficients of the like terms. We have a positive 2x and a positive 6x. So that is positive 8x, and then we have a negative 3. And so we've combined all of our like terms, and also notice that they're in descending order in terms of the exponent. 3, then the 2, then 1, then the constant at the end. Okay? Let's look at the next example. All right, now here is a box method, also called the table method, for multiplying two binomial terms. This is not how I think is the easiest way to do it, but let's go ahead and look at both ways. We have this way, and we have a way called FOIL, which you might have heard before. But the box method is, you see, you take the first term, the 7x, let me get my pen back, see if I can't make it any skinnier right now. Okay, so we take the first term right here, the 7x plus 2, and we put a 7x and a 2 on this side of the box. Everything's positive. And then on the other side of the box, we put the 5x and the 1. And so we're going to multiply the first box, the 7x times the 5x, and that's what goes right here, and that's where they get the 35x squared. Then they're also going to multiply the 7x times the 1, and that's where we get this 7x. Then we go to the 2, and we multiply the 2 times the 5x, and that's a 10x, and then the 2 times the 1, and that's this 2. And so then we bring all those terms down right here, and then we combine any like terms that we have, and you see we have a 10x and a 7x, which becomes 17x. So here's our final answer. And if you like the box method, by all means, you can use that, and we'll look at the FOIL method in just a little bit. Okay. So next, we have another binomial times a trinomial. So this is like the first one. And so we will again multiply 7x squared times x squared. And so it would be good if you pause the video and tried to do this one on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and finish it here. 7x x squared times x squared is 7x to the power of 4. And then 7x squared times a negative 5x is going to be a negative 35x to the power of 3. And then 7x squared times a negative 1 is negative 7x squared. Then I'm going to go underneath and I'm going to do my negative 2. So negative 2 times x squared, negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times a negative 5x is a positive 10x. And then negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be a positive 2. Then we're going to look for like terms. We only have one that has a x to the power of 4, so we're going to bring that down. And then we only have one term that has x to the power of 3, negative 35x cubed, so we bring that down. Now we have a negative 7x squared and a negative 2x squared. So we add negative 7 and negative 2, and we get negative 9x squared. And then we just have plus 10x plus 2. Okay. So 5, we obviously can't see what that says, so we won't worry about that one. Let's go down to number 6. Okay. So on number 6, I'm going to use the, well, it says box or table, so let's go ahead and do one more of those. So if you want to use the box or the table here, I'll draw the box over here where I have a little more room. And so I'm going to take this first 3x plus 2, everything's positive, so I'll put a 3x here and a 2 here. And then we have, for the top, we have a positive 3x, but a negative 2. So be careful there. All right, so let me change the color up here. It might help. We're going to multiply 3x times 3x, and that is going to be 9x squared in this box right here. And then we'll take this 3x and multiply it by the negative 2, and we'll get negative 6x. And then we take the 2 and multiply it times the 3x, and that is 6x. And then 2 times the negative 2, which would be a negative 4. Then we can write all those out. 9x squared minus 6x plus 6x minus 4. And so the negative 6x and the positive 6x add up to 0, and we're left with 9x squared minus 4. And that's a special type of binomial terms that we'll see later, because we have 3x plus 2 and 3x minus 2. So your middle term is always going to disappear when you see something like that. All right, so then there's number 8. This one is just a little more to do because we have 3 terms in each, and so it gets a little messy, but we have 2x squared times 5x squared. So that is going to be 10x to the 4th power. Then we're going to multiply the 2x squared times the 2x, and that's going to be 4x to the 3rd power. And then the 2x squared times the 1 is going to be plus 2x squared. Now, luckily I can change colors, which will help see it a little different, because I'm also gonna, I've got the bottom, but I've also got to multiply the 2x squared, the middle term here, the 3x times everything. So 3x times 5x squared is going to be plus 15x to the power of 3. The 3x times the 2x is plus 6x squared. And then the 3x times the 1 is plus 3x. Now we go to the bottom, and we can say negative 1 times 5x. I'm just going to write it underneath here because I'm running out of room. So that's going to be a negative 5x squared. And then negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. And negative 1 times a positive 1 is negative 1. And now again, we're just going to look for like terms. So let's see. We only have 1 to the 4th power. I'm going to write it up here. So I have 10x to the power of 4. Now I look for powers of 3. I have 4x to the power of 3 and 15x to the power of 3. Both positive, so that 4 plus 15 is plus 19x to the power of 3. Look for powers of 2. I have a positive 2x and a positive 6x squared. That is 6 plus 2 is 8x squared. Then I also have a negative 5x squared. So 8 minus 5 is a positive 3x squared. So I took care of all my x squared terms. Now I have a positive 3x and a negative 2x. So that's going to be 3 minus 2 plus 1x, or simply plus x, and then minus 1. When you have big polynomials like that, it's a good thing to go back and kind of recheck, but I think that looks good. Okay, so let's look at what's next. And I think we're going to see okay, first we're going to talk about when you square a binomial. This is very good before we do the full method. When you see something that looks like this, y plus 6 to the power of 2, do not distribute the squared sign. That's what we'll see people do. You actually have to write it out twice. It's y plus 6 times y plus 6, okay? And the same thing over here. It says 4a minus 7 squared. You need to write 4a minus 7 times 4a minus 7. And then you can either use the box method or you can use the full method, which we're going to look at right now. Okay, so the full method, what that stands for is first outer, inner, and last. This is the way that I've always thought was easier for students to remember, because you're going to kind of draw a picture as you do it, and it kind of, you see the same picture each time. So let me show you what I mean. So first means we multiply the first terms together. So I'm going to draw a little arrow from the first term here to the first term here. I multiply my 2x times my 4x, and that is 8x squared. Then, so that's my first, put an F there. Then I go underneath and do my outer. So that's the outer. So 2x times 1 is plus 2x. And then my inner is underneath here. So that's my inner. So 3 times 4x is plus 12x. And then my last is the last in both, and that's 3 times 1, which is 3. And then we combine the like terms, the 2x and the 12x, and your final answer is 8x squared plus 14x plus 3. Okay? I think I have time for one more. If the video cuts off, only have 15 minutes, and we're getting close. So let's see if we can do one more of these together, and then hopefully you can practice the other ones yourself. So we'll do the full method, and so it will be x times x squared. That's first, outer, negative 7 times x, negative 7x, inner, negative 1 times x, negative x, and last, negative 1 times a negative 7 is a positive 7. And then be sure and combine the like terms of negative 7x and negative 1x. So you get negative 8x plus 7. Okay? So if you need some more practice, look online. But these are some good examples to follow. and then I'm going to give you a practice.